Welcome back to the Casual Chaos Podcast. We are live 8:30 on a Thursday. Game 6 NBA Championship about to tip off. I'm your host, Jay Ash, joined as always by my co-hosts, Jeff and Bubba. What is up, fellas?
Not much.
Jay Ash.
How you doing, Bubba?
Good. Excited to be here tonight. Got a big game 6 here about to tip off.
Feel like potting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a week. Ready to go.
Yeah, this is exactly a week, right? It's the first time we've been doing our schedule's been all messed up recently. So
yeah.
A little bit to recap from the U.S. Open and a lot to cover tonight and in general. So once again, this is the Casual Chaos Podcast. This is where you come for life advice. Scratch that. This is where you come to bring the sports wagering community together. We're here talking tickets. We are talking about the fan base and our audience. We're talking about their sports wagers, anything from player props to parlays, straight bets, futures, you name it. We're covering it. Follow us on all the socials at Casual Chaos Live. Let's get some graphics across the screen so people can see where to find us. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, X. We're out there. Come check us out. If you're listening on YouTube or Spotify or Apple,
for sure.
Keep listening. Go back in the archives. Check out past performances. I think you'll find that this is just, if it's not the number one, it's close top 5 podcasts in the world right now. So before we get into talking tickets, we were talking a little bit before we jumped on here. We were talking about the golf and U.S. Open and the difference between a -1 final score, which was the end result of JJ Spaun winning the tournament last weekend, and then looking at today's Travelers first round, and it's already -8 on the leaderboard. So what did you guys think about the crazy finish last week?
That was incredible. Who was the guy in the clubhouse just waiting on to see if he would have a playoff? I forget who it was.
McIntyre.
Yeah, he was just sitting there watching. Did you see them show him, like they showed his reaction when he made the putt?
Oh yeah,
the long putt to win it, not because he was going to win it on a 2-putt anyway. But the long one that he made, and you could just see how happy he was for the guy. I'm sure he would have liked to win, but it's just
it's an amazing putt,
unreal putt.
Yeah,
it was awesome seeing that. It was down to the wire. I mean, I think until probably 16 or 17, it was like anybody's game,
Yeah.
Yeah, and Spaun definitely played well in the back nine too. So it's always good to see somebody win the tournament instead of sort of backing their way in.
After a long weather delay too, right?
Yeah.
They had to sit and wait, and he said that helped him, but hindsight's 20/20, I guess.
Yeah, it was 5 over on the front nine. I mean,
yeah.
And then 3 under on the back, right? 3 or 4 under at the back. Yeah.
And then obviously, it's a little bit different putt if Hovland doesn't, snuggle right up to him and then give him the line. But like Bubba said, he only needed the 2 putt from there. So it was an interesting end of the tournament, a little choppy with the rain delay, sneaking in a 2008 Tiger Woods footage. I heard a lot of pods this week talking about that, and some people actually thinking it was live, which was kind of silly, but overall pretty good. Hopefully we don't have that type of weather in Connecticut this week. This sloppy tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. We were talking before we started here. I mean, I like that the course played difficult. You know what I mean? Like you said, we could have done without the rain, of course, but it was a fun weekend. I don't think the ratings were great. Especially there wasn't a lot of big names up top on Saturday and Sunday, but it was a fun tournament to watch. And now they're in Hartford, and this is one of the golfers' favorite courses. And it's hot up here. I know you were joking about the weather. I don't know if there's rain in the forecast, but it's hot up here. So
I saw this morning it was in parts of New York. It was getting to be 100 degrees or something like that.
Yeah. It's we're like getting caught in the middle of a heat wave here. So I think tomorrow's supposed to be nice, like what you would expect, and then Saturday and Sunday is supposed to be pretty warm. So
yeah. And for those that do live in Connecticut, it's actually in Cromwell, isn't it? It's not in Hartford.
Yeah, but The people in Connecticut say Hartford, even though it's Cromwell. So.
Yeah, I mean, you need to remember, Jeff, we have a global audience, so the people overseas, we want to be real specific for them, so they understand. When they come and visit, they get out of Hartford into Cromwell. So, but you hit it on the head. The Travelers is quietly the #1 rated tournament by players. I think over the last 4 years, they wheeled up a dump truck full of money a couple years back, and they just give out excellent packages to these guys, so they love coming to.
Yeah, but they love the course. They like the course.
Yeah,
they really do.
A lot of fun.
Yeah,
$20 million purse.
Yeah, crazy.
So, that's why they get all the big names.
It went from almost going away to a signature event. It's pretty crazy.
It's awesome.
All right. Well, let's just let's slide right into talking tickets. We took last week off with talking tickets for paternity leave purposes, but we've got producer Juju up to speed, and he's gonna throw some tickets. I think the first one we're gonna talk about here comes from Rain Man. Let's get that up on the screen. This looks like a U.S. Open ticket. It was an outright winner play at plus 960, which means it was in tournament, so a live bet, risking 50 to win 480. It definitely had some legs when he put it in.
Yeah,
Hovland, before the rain delay, was in contention. He was in contention the whole time, but he just came up a little bit short. So good play.
Yeah, I don't hate that bet at all.
No, because you're getting great odds. I think when he put it in, I think Hovland was 4th or 5th on the leaderboard. Right. So you're getting great value there. It just didn't work out. I mean, if again, like if you saw Tyrrell Hatton on what was it, 17, the bunker shot, those guys just couldn't. No one could par or birdie down the stretch. It was just a nightmare.
Yeah, I like to do that. I like to like today. I mean, it sucks. It doesn't suck. Scotty Scheffler's, tied for first place. So I wouldn't necessarily do this on this one, but like whoever is leading after the first round, take the next 5 guys to win the tournament. See if they're good odds, you got a decent chance. How often does the guy that wins the first day win the tournament?
Yeah, it's not as common as you would think, but with Scheffler, who knows this week?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. With Scheffler, you can't.
Yeah, he won it last year with minus 21, so he's on pace for that again. I actually took him. I mean, I was reluctant. He was only plus 325, but it was just like, who's beating him?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, next ticket we've got comes from AC/DC, also known as Alex Del Cueto. In-game action here again. JJ Spaun, the outright winner, caught him at plus 350. So this was probably midday, maybe late day on Sunday. Nice little $20 wager, turning that into a $90 win. So nice looking green ticket on Hard Rock Bet, future sponsor of the podcast and friend of the podcast.
Friend of the pod. Yep.
Not much to say about this one. Called out the winner. This is actually after he dropped down to 2 or 3 on the leaderboard. So congrats to AC/DC.
Yeah, congrats.
Yeah, nice win. Yep.
Yeah. Let's get that Okie ticket up here. Here's an interesting one. Yesterday, trying to right the ship with the Nationals on a 9-game skid, risking 600 to win 375, caught the L. But they had an afternoon game today, as you can see, risking 825 to win 500. So he did recoup 80% of the loss yesterday. I'm imagining this was a compounded play. So the 600 he lost yesterday was probably on top of several other wagers that didn't hit. So just trying to claw back as much as you can there. So again, risking 850 to win 500. So congrats on a winning ticket.
Who are they playing? Who the Nationals playing?
They're playing the Rockies. Believe it or not.
I was gonna say because a 9-game skid and they're that big of favorites. I was like, they got to be playing someone shitty.
Well, which was crazy too, because I mean, the Rockies ultimately took 3 or 4 from them.
That's crazy. That's wild. Yeah, that's bad.
And the Rockies are historically bad, as we talked about.
Juggernaut.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, and then last one. This bet is open yet closed all at the same time. This is coming from One Buck Ant. It's a 7-team parlay. Actually, that's not the right ticket. Producer Juju. This is a Thunder ticket with Tyrese Halliburton. Not sure why that's on the screen. So,
well, I mean, what do we got going on here?
It's a loser. I know that.
This is a loser. This is actually from this is what?
Tuesday, Monday.
Monday?
Monday, yeah.
No, this is this Patterson's bet? Yeah, this is Patterson's bet from Monday. So we could run with this one. It's a loser. Patterson lost. He got hooked. Halliburton come up a little bit short and the Thunder win. So that's a loss. Do we have that 7-team parlay? No, we don't.
Well, like you said, it's a live ticket, but he's already had a couple losses on it.
He's already had a couple losses. Yeah. So, all right, let's get off the screen here and we'll just keep this thing moving. We are coming up on tip-off here. Looks like, they just did the announcement. So we're coming up live. OKC is looking to wrap this thing up. One of us has a exact series ticket with OKC winning 4-2. That would be me.
I was going to say, who would that be?
What are the odds on that?
50's paying, just round it up to 240. Call it.
Very nice.
So
yeah.
So a little 4.5 to 1, give or take.
I
would think
didn't hedge it, right?
Would be more, but
No, I didn't hedge it, and like I said, I this is the first series in the NBA playoffs that I didn't bet individual games. So if you remember, I put in OKC in 5 and OKC in 6. So I lost the 50 when they dropped the first game or second game, and tonight I'll recoup. We'll come out of it plus 190. So I'm putting a stamp on it. They are going to win tonight. I just don't see. I don't see with a banged up Halliburton, and I just think they're kind of right in the ship. I think defensively, if you watched game 5 the other night, I think between 5 minutes and 3 minutes, there was a stretch where 5 straight possessions, OKC just took the ball. It was. Yeah. I explained it to Juju here that it would be like playing one-on-one with my 3.5-year-old Justice and just being like, okay, buddy, it's enough. You're not going to score anymore. Right.
Yeah. This one's mine.
Yeah. So what do you guys think before, as we're about to tip off, what do you guys think about tonight?
I do think OKC is going to win. We'll get into that a little bit later. Some more of that a little bit later. Ever since they put Dort on Halliburton in game 4, he's been pretty much a non-factor. Now, again, I know he was supposedly compromised in the last game, but Dort completely shut him down in game 4, and the Halliburton didn't do much in game 5. Again, maybe injury related. I just have a feeling he can't deal with Dort. So I expect OKC to win. It'll be close, and maybe even OKC will be losing at halftime. But like you said, Ash, I think their defense will end up taking a toll as the game goes along. So
yeah, what Dort finished second in Defensive Player of the Year?
I believe so.
Second, third?
Yeah,
he's a monster.
Now, Bubba, you got it going the other way, right? You're thinking Indiana's going to pull it out?
I do think the Thunder are going to win the series. They could easily win it tonight, but I got Indiana tonight. I think there's going to be some Indiana magic. It's at home. They got, they win. If they lose today, they're putting it all on the court. They lose today, they got 6 months of rest. NBA wants a game 7. I put my money on that. I think there's plus 280, something like that, plus 234, somewhere around there, 2 something. And I threw them in a, what we'll talk about later, is bragging rights. But I truly, if I picked the game individually, I would have taken them money line too.
Okay. Just for the record, Bubba, the Magic are in Orlando, so I don't know what type of Indiana Magic we're getting tonight. I didn't check. Is the extender on the floor?
I don't know who's doing the game. Yeah, I'm not sure.
All right,
and I can't see this from
I can't
far
see.
away.
Yeah,
I think I see him. You're talking about Frost, right?
Foster.
No, Foster.
Yeah.
Foster. Sorry, Foster.
Yep.
I think I see him. But
yeah, for those that don't know, Scott Foster they call the extender. So when the NBA does want a series to go, they bring in Foster, and he just gives you one horrific call after another.
Oh yeah.
So, listen, we're this is potentially the last game of the season. If it's not, then we're gonna have what is it? Sunday would be the last game, and then we go into the NBA draft next Wednesday. I think that's the best part about the NBA, actually.
The draft is awesome.
The draft is just right, a week after. So you keep the momentum going. You keep, talking about it. Obviously, we know that Cooper Flagg's going to be the first pick going to Dallas. Jeff, particularly, anybody jumping out at you or climbing up the board that you're seeing or hearing? I know we were talking about McNeely yesterday.
Yeah, I just don't see Philly, and you could probably talk on this more than me because you're a Sixers fan, but I don't see Philly taking Bailey. I know that's not necessarily it seems like a lot of people sort of had that opinion, but I still see a lot of people in the know mocking him to Philadelphia, and he just doesn't seem like their kind of player. So I'll be surprised if he doesn't drop a little bit. Again, the big thing with him is, all year they talked about how he was 6'10", and then when they finally measured him a few weeks ago, he came in at 6'7.5". I mean, that's a huge difference.
Yeah.
That's
so
not 6'10".
Yeah. But he's very talented. He's very athletic. He's got long arms, which the guys in the NBA love. So we'll see what happens. But I just don't think he fits Morey's system in Philadelphia. So,
yeah, I don't know what the hell they're going to do. I mean, to be honest with you, it wouldn't surprise me. Who's the kid from Baylor?
Yeah, I know you're talking about the guard, right?
The guard, yeah. I'm drawing a blank on his name too.
Yeah, me too.
So, the problem with that is you already have Maxey. You already got the kid from Duke that's coming off an ACL. So I don't think they're going to go backcourt. I just don't know who the wing is or, the power, whatever in the draft right now. The center for Duke is interesting. I just don't know if he's the number 3 pick. Simmons had Con Knipple on today, which was actually a really good interview. He's climbing up the board. I don't think Philly would take him at 3. You know how I feel about Duke guys in general, but after listening to that interview, I was like, yeah, we could take this kid.
The kid from Baylor's is Edgecombe. You were talking about Edgecombe.
Yep.
Yeah. I heard that the center from Duke has done really well in workouts too. So people are saying he, like you said, he's moving up the board.
Well, he's 18 years old.
Yeah, I know.
So is Flag.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Yeah, they're pretty impressive for being, 18, like you guys said.
Yeah,
both of them.
He's 7'2".
Well, it's a good draft. It's a good draft. There's a lot of talent in it. They should be able to get good players well into the mid first round.
And it's deadlock 100%. Flags going to Dallas.
Yeah,
the only thing unless they trade the pick, which isn't happening.
No. He just spent 2 days in Dallas. He went out to dinner one night with the front office, and the next night went out to dinner with a bunch of players. So that's over. That's done.
Yeah.
I mean, the big question is the Spurs. Everybody expects they're going to take Harper, who is a clear-cut second best player in the draft. Now he doesn't necessarily fit right now on that team, so there's a lot of thought that they might trade that pick. I don't think they will. Not for Durant. I mean, they're not trading that pick for Durant. That's for sure. I guess it's possible they could do something with Milwaukee, but it seems like Giannis doesn't want to leave. I mean, it's the rumblings all year, all this whole past few weeks is that he finally wants to get out of there, but now it's looking like that's not the case. So,
I mean, obviously Doc wasn't going to come on that pod and say he was going to leave, but no indication from Doc that he's unhappy or doesn't want to be there. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens. If I'm the Spurs, I'm not trading that pick at all. I'd take it, keep stockpiling it. Maybe you actually, maybe make another move with somebody, and maybe it's De'Aaron Fox. Who knows?
Well, that's the thing because Fox is Fox is a great player, but he's not a great shooter. Harper supposedly is not a great shooter, although he's young and that could get better, right? Castle, that's the sort of the word on him too. As good as he is, he's not a great shooter. So all of a sudden, you got 3 or 4 guys on that team that are going to get major minutes that can't shoot. They're going to look like the Magic. I mean, did last year. You know what I mean? So you can only go so far with that type of lineup.
Right.
Rebounding title for Wemby. It sounds like.
Right? Yeah, and hopefully he's healthy. Right. That's the other big question mark. So
yeah. Well, so you just brought up the Magic. I know we were bouncing back and forth since Sunday on the trade with Bain, so we've got our platform now. I love the trade for the Magic. Is he worth 4 first-round picks? I have no idea anymore. That market's just been skewed. It just seems like everybody, if you want a real player, you're going to have to give up 3 to 4, which is just nuts.
Yeah.
But he's the 3rd best catch and shoot 3 guy in the league.
Mm-hmm.
When Steph leaves, he's probably going to be considered the best 3-point shooter in the league. And, he's 26, 27. So he's still about to hit his prime, and he's tough as nails. He's just, he's a oversized guard, and he's going to fit in with that team. He's not an elite defender by any stretch, but he gives them some more muscle. And I think he's got an attitude. So I'm looking forward to getting to some Magic games this year.
Yeah, and they don't really need another elite defender anyway. I mean, as long as you're not a turnstile, which he certainly is not, because that defense is not a problem on that team. So I think they gave. I mean, look, I think they gave up a little too much for him, but I mean, we got to remember that at least one of those first round picks was for them to take for Memphis to take the contract back, right?
Yeah, take Pope.
Yeah, so because he was making like $20 million a year, and he was sort of a disaster last year for him. So, so anyway, we'll see what happens. They definitely needed the shooting. I still think they need another shooter. I don't think just one is enough because nobody else on the team can shoot.
No.
So they need more than one shooter, obviously. So we'll see if they make any other moves, but. Yeah, it's a good move for the Magic in a wide open Eastern Conference. So, I don't blame them for rolling the dice.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's kind of wrap up basketball talk with the other news that broke, which was Jeannie Buss and the Buss family selling a good chunk of Lakers ownership with a new majority owner. So the thing that jumped off the page obviously was the valuation of the team at $10 billion. So in the same, you've got the Lakers being sold. The NBA is going, what's going on?
Crazy.
Celtics just got sold. You know what I mean? New ownership group coming in there. So not your grandparents' NBA anymore. You guys got any thoughts on the Lakers?
Jeff, I know you said you had some thoughts on this.
Well, I read a lot about it yesterday, and I also listened to the Windhorse pod on the Ringer. And basically the guy that's buying the majority share, his name is Mark Walter. It's him, and of course he has it's not just him. He's got like a team of guys. The name is it's not Guggenheim. They got a different name, but basically it's the same people who own the Dodgers have the majority share of the Dodgers. So now he owns the Dodgers and he's got the majority share of the Lakers. He already owned 27% of the Lakers. The Buss family owns 67%. The 6 kids have, for what I understand, equal share of the team. So, for this to go through, they had to get at least 4 of them to agree to it. And for what I understand, it was not unanimous, right? But they did have enough of them to agree to do it. So the Buss family's not going to give up all their shares. So like I said, right now they own 67%. They're going to sell enough of it so that Mark Walter's group now becomes the majority shareholder. Okay. Jeannie Buss is supposed to continue to run the team. We hear that a lot in deals like this, and often it doesn't usually last very long, right? Because the people who are spending all the money want to have their own person and you're running the show.
Always happens.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. But the thing about the Buss family is, and this is a lot like the Steinbrenners in baseball. The majority of their money comes from owning the sports team. They don't really have, a lot of outside companies, right? Unlike some of these other rich owners that are in these, these leagues. So the Buss family did spend money on the team. They were often in the luxury tax. Last year they were close to the apron. I mean, I think LeBron, kept them out of the apron by agreeing like to $1 million discount or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's not like they didn't spend money on the team, but it was all the other stuff, right? So this group is going to come in and they're going to redo the practice facility. They're going to redo the locker room. They'll probably buy new planes from the fly on and all that other type of stuff, right?
It's going to be run like a normal business.
Yeah. But, they're going to go from, LA was always a selling point. Playing for the Lakers was always a selling point, but it was all the other stuff that was under par as far as other NBA teams, especially like the Clippers who are playing in the same city. So they're going to come in and they're going to really, really improve things. So LA is going to go from, being a place everybody wants to play to being a place that everybody really wants to play. So
I imagine this guy that is buying majority of the team now doesn't only own the Dodgers and the Lakers. He's probably got other businesses too.
Oh, he does.
It's just part of his portfolio, and he's going to run it like it's part of it. He's going to do what needs to be done. Essentially.
Now, one other interesting thing is about a couple months ago, his group wanted to do like fundraising right? And they got $10 billion from Abu Dhabi. So, yeah. So, now they're tied into the Lakers too, right? I mean, indirectly, of course, because they're an investor in his group. They're not necessarily an investor in the Lakers, but they got their hands in the league now too. So that's just an interesting side note,
Yeah, for sure.
Saudi money coming to roost.
Yeah.
All right, we got 15-12. Pacers just went from being down 10-2 to 15-12. Not too shabby.
Yeah, did you? Yeah, they were getting waxed, and then look up.
Well, let's transition to the most talked about, most sought after, the most DMs received on a weekly basis. 30 seconds on the NHL. Florida wins the Stanley Cup. Bubba, go.
Just found out about it like 2 hours ago. I mean, seriously, you would think that just living in Florida, not even an NHL fan, but just living in Florida, you'd think I would hear about it quicker than I did. I think when they went it Monday night.
No, it was
Tuesday.
Okay, I didn't hear about it till Wednesday after lunch is when I think I sent that text out to you guys. No, it was like 9 a.m., but still, I had been up for a couple hours, and I was waiting. Like the headline that I saw was McDavid, I think, was complaining about something, and that's how I found out that they won the championship. So, congrats.
Was he complaining about not scoring goals?
That and something else. I forget what it was, but that's how I found out that Florida won. And it's a little sense of pride, right? Florida, again, another Stanley Cup coming to Florida. I love it.
Back to back.
It's the wrong coast, but I'll take it. It's exciting. Good for them.
As we pointed out, Canadians don't know how to play hockey. Floridians do. So we'll,
I mean, they're becoming kind of a little powerhouse in Florida for sure.
Yeah, I think next year, whenever the odds come up for who's going to win the cup, just throw a little bit on the Panthers, throw a little bit on the Lightning, should be fine. And if not, throw a dart in 2 more warm locations, because geographically champions
somewhere in
hockey play in warm weather teams.
Yeah,
warm weather states. So it's gonna be good. All right,
good for them.
Yep. All right. Just kind of do a full round of all sports. Yankees got off the schneid today. Jeff, any thoughts on today's game?
No
stress.
I was just happy. No, I mean, I was just happy that they finally scored some runs. I mean, it's funny. You and I definitely put the kibosh on Judge last week. He went, we had the conversation about how great he was playing. I think he was batting .394 at the time, and then 7 games later. So at the end of today's game, that it's exactly 7 games later, he's batting .366. So he lost basically 30 points in 7 games, which again happens when you're hitting that high, obviously, right? But he was really in a bad slump, and even today, he went 1 for 3 with a double in the gap, which was good to see. He had a walk, which was good to see, but he missed numerous pitches. It was funny because Frazier was doing the game for the Yankees, and the pitcher threw a 91-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle of the plate. It was like center. Judge fouled it off. And Frazier was like, boy, you're not going to see that pitch again. He got away with one there. The very next pitch was a 91 fastball right down the middle of the plate, and Judge fouled it off again. And Frazier's like, boy, he's really messed up right now. And I was like, no kidding, So
yeah, he didn't miss 2 pitches like that.
No,
or at least he hasn't. But that's I don't see that a problem. The Yankees are going to hit. They're going to score runs. This is a small slump, and again, what a time to have it, right? You're batting .390 something. You go down to .360. He'll figure it out. I think he'll figure it out.
And again, it's not just. And I agree with you, Bubba. I mean, it's obviously not. I mean, well, he'll turn it around, but the whole team went into a slump. It was insane. I mean, they all stopped hitting at the same time. The
one game they won was like 2-1, right? And that's good, or before it? Or
they won. So they won Thursday, 1-0, and then they got swept by the Red Sox, and they lost their first 3 games.
That's what it was. The 1-0 game. Yeah.
So the good thing, the only good thing you take away from it is that their pitching has still been really good. So it would be more worrisome to me if they were hitting the ball and all of a sudden they were getting shelled, because I have a little bit more faith in their hitters than I do their pitching. But their pitching's been great this year. So. Yeah, we'll see.
Well, you hit on the top of that segment, Jeff, when you said, we put the kibosh on Judge there. It just shows the power of the Casual Chaos podcast and how deep our reach is. He's clearly a listener and a fan of the pod. So I think he, we kind of got in his head, and he, it took its toll. But he's working through it. Judge, we love you. Get your head back on. Send us a DM. See, we'll help you any way we could. We're rooting for you, buddy.
Well, his last at bat was that double in the gap I mentioned, so hopefully that gets him off the schneid. So
what are his? I wonder what his the next couple games will be for him to hit a dinger. You think it'll be decent odds now and not minus or plus 150?
It's a good question. I haven't really looked at it, but it's a good question.
I don't think you're ever going to get him anymore over plus 200. It's always going to be in that 150 to 200 range. I mean, if you see him at plus 350, he's either hurt or it's just an error, right? So I mean, I'm jumping all over that if I see it. You have to. Even if you're just throwing $10 on it. Yeah. If
he's slumping, as bad as it is, then maybe they.
So sticking with baseball, you guys. I'm sure you heard the news that the Rays are exploring a sale. What's your thoughts on that?
For the 40th time, this guy gets to the table and then backs out every time. So we'll see. I won't believe it till it's all signed and everything's all the dotted lines are signed.
Do we know who the group is?
It's a group. Well, the head of the group is a home builder out of Jacksonville.
Okay.
He's got a $3 billion company, something like that, and he's got some other multi-millionaires, a couple other names I forget, but there's a Tampa guy too. There's some investors from Tampa too. So it'd be nice for some Tampa guys to be involved. And, if they stay in Tampa, I think that'd be sick. Cause
have they said that's the intention?
I think so. The intention, if they do it, is to stay in Tampa.
I mean, you would think so, right? They're all Florida guys. So you would think so. But.
Yeah. But I mean, we've heard of the, Larkin's group in Orlando. I guess he's raised like 1.5 billion. I think he's going to need to go a little bit higher than that. But, I think MLB wants him to sell the team. I think they're done with his program.
Yeah.
And, they want to keep it in Florida.
Yeah.
I don't think they care if it's in Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville, just keep it in Florida.
Yeah. I think that Jane Castor came out and said something to the mayor of Tampa. And I think that group's intention would be to keep it in Tampa somewhere. So
she was in favor of it.
She was very welcoming of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you saw Shaw announced that he's building that stadium down in Ybor for the women's soccer league.
Yeah.
Which looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
It'd be nice to get a baseball stadium down here too.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, the one thing that this experiment with them playing the Yankees minor league stadium down there, and Bubba, you've been on top of this from the very beginning, but whatever they do, they're going to need a roof. So
absolutely,
they can't play in the heat,
So
no, and as a fan, I'd rather some type of indoor, outdoor, or some type of relief would be welcome.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't understand why no one talks about a retractable roof.
Well, it costs more money. That's why.
I get it.
Yeah.
But they act like the technology is not out there, you know? So anyway, all right, let's get on to bragging rights.
Everybody should hang their head again.
Yeah, it's a sad day. It's a sad tale. So we're going to have to change the segment. So let's go over last week's.
I feel good about mine this week. So.
Yeah.
Let's get through last week's. And then
I loaded up on outside of today. So we'll see what happens. But let's go through last week's. Let's see how everybody did. Let's get Jeff's ticket up there. And Jeff, where did things go wrong for you?
I think I went 2-2 on that one. The Yankees won the game, but didn't. Again, that was the last game they won before they went in their slide. So they won that game 1-0. So they didn't cover the 1.5 spread there. Bobby Witt didn't have 2 hits either. So, and as we know, Judge didn't play in that game. So, yeah, I think I went 1-2, which is a loss. So,
it sure is
big loser.
It sure is.
It sure is. We should just call this Loser's Corner.
Loser's Corner.
Yeah, it's probably trademarked. All right, let's see what I did last week there. Their guy. All right. Over 6.5 goals in the Panthers game. That was a winner.
Mhm.
Connor McDavid, he was complaining that he couldn't score goals, and he proved everybody right yet again. So I had him over a half a goal. Just put one in the net, buddy. He did not do it. Hartenstein, 7.5 rebounds. That actually came in. And the Thunder -4, I believe, came in as well. So I was 3-1 that night. It was little frustrating with McDavid. 3-1 sounds good, feels good. It's a listen.
The dangers of parlays.
Yep. All right, Bubba, how'd you do last week?
Let's see what we got here. I had Oklahoma City Thunder money line that hit. That Brewers Cardinals game, I believe, went under, so I lost that one. The Astros won by a run and a half, I believe. I think they won like 4-1. And then the Oilers lost. So I went 2 for 4, which again is a loser. Exciting stuff going 0 for on our bragging rights once again. But I feel some sort of magic here. I think we got some winners. There's going to be 1 or 2 winners this week.
Okay. On that note, let's dial it in. Jeff, what do you got this week?
So I've gone the complete opposite way from Bubba as far as this basketball game. Everything I put in is this NBA game related. So I got the Thunder. I got the Thunder winning by at least 6. I got Siakam scoring 25 or more. I got Nembhard getting 4 rebounds or more. And I got SGA with at least 2 3-pointers. So at the moment, SGA hasn't attempted a 3. Nembhard has no rebounds, and Siakam's got 6 points, which that's okay. But the score is 26-20. So score wise, we're okay. Indiana's winning, but yeah, I need Nembhard to grab a few rebounds there. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, all makes sense. I don't think you need to worry about the Siakam play there. He just methodically scores throughout the game.
Yeah.
So I like it. Oh, there's Nembhard as you speak. So okay. All right, let's see what I'm running with this week here. All right, I did something a little different this week. You can see there's a big payout here if this comes through. It's 25, pays 11.98, so let's just call it 1,200. I've got the Thunder tonight, money line -275. Again, I think they wrap it up tonight. I have a vested interest in that with my exact 4-2 series wager. I wasn't necessary to play the spread here with the odds of the rest of the parlay I have. So I'm doing what's considered group betting inside the tournament. So each one of these means Scotty Scheffler is playing against, obviously he's playing against the field, but they isolate groups of golfers such as like Xander Schauffele, kind of, the top tier, if you will. So he's got to come out with a better score than 4 of his peers in that group. So I've got Scotty coming out at -105. I got McIntyre coming out of Group C at +350 and Cam Young at +300. So if all 3 of those guys do their job and the Thunder do their job tonight, that's going to be one hell of a payout for that ticket. So I'm looking forward to it. Scheffler, obviously, on top of the leaderboard. Cam Young is in the top 10 right now, and I'm pretty sure he's ahead of everybody in his group. And McIntyre is just a grinder. So I think he'll be there in the end. Be great to happen, and looking forward to watching some golf on Sunday.
That's a fun ticket.
Yeah, with the odds on that ticket, you'll definitely be the winner. If there's multiple winners in this group, you're going to be the one. So good luck.
That's a fun ticket, though, too, because if the Thunder do it tonight, then you got basically the whole weekend to watch golf.
Yeah, the thing that really sucks, if I'm being completely transparent, is I put that in the Hard Rock. The Hard Rock doesn't actually list the groups anymore, so I have no idea who they actually have to win. So it's just like
just play well. Just
play well, right?
Yeah, just play well.
We'll see what happens.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right, let's close it out with Bubba. What do you got this week?
All right. I took the Padres money line against the Dodgers tonight. Yeah, the Dodgers have Yamamoto throwing, but I think the Padres are gonna come out swinging tonight. There's been a little back and forth with these two teams. Dave Roberts got thrown out the other day. Both benches got worn. So I I feel like tensions are high there, and I saw plus 210 on them. And the Padres are a good team, man. They can come out and score a lot of runs on any given night. So I took them, and then I took the Astros minus 138 to win that game. I got the Pacers money line tonight. Like I said, I think that I think they can pull this one off at home. I'm rooting for them. I'm obviously once you're 4-2 ticket to hit, but plus 180 at home, game 6. I took a chance on them, and then I took the Orioles to win by a 1.5. 25 pays 569.39. And I think somebody called it before we started tonight and it might have been producer Tyler from right field said that I think you said it, Jay. Sounds like Pacers win the first quarter and then Thunder roll the rest. So
yep,
looks like that's lining up.
Or the Orioles given 1.5, or are they getting 1.5? Let
me see.
It look like they're getting 1.5.
Sorry, they're getting 1.5. Yep,
yeah,
absolutely. Yep.
And that game's 1-1 right now in the 6th, by the way.
Okay. Yeah. So I need some magic there.
All right, that wraps up bragging rights. We're hoping to get a winner this week. We're really letting the fan base down. So somebody's got to come through, or we're just gonna have to start calling this losers corner, and start throwing out the slogan. We got to play. You go the other way.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had one winner in 7 weeks, so we're like 1 for 21.
You can go back and listen to all the other podcasts to verify that. we're gonna make the audience do some work here. So, all right. Well, that's gonna wrap up the pod tonight. I think we're gonna get locked into this game here. We're gonna do another pod next week. Same schedule. We'll be on the schedule for a little bit. Next Thursday, we'll record. We'll put it up on Friday. Be on the lookout if you're in the Tampa area. I think we might be out and about next Saturday at a sports bar location to be named later. So we'll probably announce that on a pod where we're headed. We're going to, over the summer here, we're going to start making some local rounds, getting to know some people around town, getting them familiar with the pod and some of the things we have coming up for football season. So
yeah, 1 week closer to football season. So we got to get
closer to football.
We got to get in shape.
As we said, the Jason Kelce commercials are starting to make a comeback. So it's football season when you see the beard. So make sure you're following us on the socials at Casual Chaos Live. Send in your tickets. You're putting something in tonight, tomorrow, all through the week. Doesn't matter what day. DM them via Instagram. Send it to the site itself on that link. Put them up on X, however you want to get them to us. We're available at Casual Chaos Live. Again, YouTube, this will be up first thing in the morning. Spotify, Apple, wherever you pod. Come check it out. We're looking forward to having you, and we're hoping to get some new audience members. If you do check us out on YouTube, please do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button. It is still currently free. We have been advised by AI to charge for that. We refuse. We're here for the fans. We want you to subscribe for free. So come back and check us out next week. Enjoy the pod. Enjoy your weekend, fellas. As always, it's been great. I think we're out.
All right. Bye, everybody.
See you guys. Send in some tickets.
Hi, everyone. This is Jay Ash, one of the hosts of the Casual Chaos podcast you are about to listen to discusses gambling and wagering on sporting events. Please be advised the gambling and sports wagering content during this podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only and does not constitute financial or gambling advice. Sports wagering involves significant risk. If you choose to gamble, please do so responsibly and only gamble with funds that you can comfortably afford to lose. All opinions, wagering tickets discussed, or implied wagers on the Casual Chaos podcast are not guarantees to result in financial gain. You must be 21 years or older or of legal gambling age in your jurisdiction to participate in sports wagering. Please verify the gambling and sports wagering laws and regulations within your jurisdiction prior to placing bets. Listeners are solely responsible for their own wagering decisions and outcomes. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, help is available. Call or text the National Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537. We encourage everyone to engage with sports betting responsibly. The host and the Casual Cast podcast assume no liability for any losses incurred as a result of listening to this content.